Hello, I'm Laura Wimberly, and welcome to episode 2 of the Questions Podcast. In this episode, I sat down with two of my best friends, Gabe Herrera and Gladys Cantu. We talked about their journeys of addiction and recovery. Listening to their stories of being homeless and addicted to drugs to now both being successful entrepreneurs is truly inspiring. They are hilarious, kind, and two of the hardest working people I've ever met. I know that what they've learned on their journeys of recovery will help others. We had such a blast recording this episode. I hope you enjoy it. Here it is, episode 2 with Gabe and Gladys. Gabe.
Oh.
Gladys.
Hi.
Welcome to the Questions Podcast.
Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
I'm good, how are you?
Fantastic.
You are so nice to come. I'm so thankful you're here.
Thanks.
Yeah, excited.
We'll be on our best behavior.
Yeah. All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Gabe, where did you grow up?
The old south side of San Antonio, Texas. Yep, way southwest side, block away from Harlandale High School. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I didn't mind it growing up, and then now I realized, oh, that was the quote-unquote bad side of town. I didn't think it was bad. So,
Was that
yeah.
because you were bad?
Not then, no. That was
Not
older.
yet?
That was when I left San Antonio and moved here to the Hill Country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you went to a Catholic school your whole life, right?
yeah. Kindergarten all the way to 12th grade.
Oh, yes.
The whole time.
So speaking of Catholic schools, can you sing me some of those songs that you learned?
Oh man, I just went blank on all of them.
One day, because we used to work together, and I don't know how we got on that topic, but one day you were just like, I remember one of the songs I learned in preschool. Can you sing any of them?
Oh. No, I can't remember any of them.
my
You put me on the
gosh.
spot. It'll come to me in the middle of the podcast.
middle of Gladys's answer.
Yes, you'll say a
Oh,
word
gosh.
instead of,
Well, as soon as you get it, I want to hear it.
okay. As it comes to me.
What about you, Gladys? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Eagle Pass, Texas, so it's a border town. Yeah.
Yeah. You have a bunch of siblings,
Yes,
though, right?
I'm one of 7.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Where do you fall?
fun. I'm the 5th one.
Oh,
Wild times.
middle child.
Yes.
Woot woot.
I don't know the feeling.
Yeah, you got it
Oh
all.
my gosh.
So this episode is about substance abuse. That was something that you both had talked to me about within our friendships and everything. And so I just really want to hear from you about your journey, and I feel like you guys can help people. So any kind of terminology that I say incorrectly, just correct me.
Yeah.
But what did you use? What was drugs, alcohol? Gabe, what did you do?
Oh, I wanted to go fast all the time. So mine was at first cocaine, and then I graduated to methamphetamines.
Graduated.
It was a bad graduation, but yes.
Yeah.
But that was, yeah. I mean, I tried a little bit of everything, but that's what I stuck on the most.
Yeah. How old were you?
When I first used it, 17, 18?
When you kind of became, do you feel like that's when you became what you would say an addict, or a little bit later?
No,
or?
It was, I guess probably 2005, 2006, after high school.
After.
Right, I guess right after high school. For me, it was just, I was bored.
Bored.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what I've said for years, and that's what I'm still saying now. I mean, I guess boredom was the only thing I could honestly remember about it. It was there, it was offered to me, and I guess like a peer pressure kind of thing. I said, but not really a peer pressure. They weren't pressuring me. It was like, you want some? Sure, why not? And then, yep, it was off to the races. Started talking about dumb things and everything. Yeah.
And it was in high school?
No, that was
When
I
you
think-
first, or you said after, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was when I did that. I mean, in high school, I guess my freshman year, before I even moved, is when I first did any kind of drugs, and that was shrooms, with some friends. But we put them on some pizza and ate it. And,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that was
Danced around?
Danced around, saw leaves moving, and yeah, I remember a lady running by, and all the trees were like chasing her, like the
Oh
branches.
my gosh.
It was pretty interesting. I laughed. It was a good time.
Are
I
you
laughed. They
eating your
laughed.
pizza?
Yep, eating my pizza. It was a good time, but yeah.
The beginning.
The beginning.
What about you, Gladys? Was it drugs or alcohol for you?
So I did a little bit of everything. Started drinking and smoking weed, and I went to ecstasy and shrooms, and then I became an IV drug user for 5 years. Shooting heroin. So yeah.
Happens quick, right?
Yeah, it happens really quick. Probably within a year of doing stuff, I was already shooting heroin.
How old were you when you first started?
I think I was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it similar to him? Were you bored, or were you
No, I
feel
was
like
never bored. I just wanted to party. Like, it was all about a party.
Yeah.
Good times, didn't want to worry about anything. I just wanted to have fun. And so, like, growing up in the border, like, we started going across the bridge, like, all the time to party, pretty young, drinking and stuff. And so,
Back then it was easy to get across.
yeah, it was easy, and it was, to us, that was like fun, and then once you do those little things, and it's like, okay, what's next? And then what's next? And then what's next? And
what is that about what's next? What do you think you're looking for? Or what is that feeling?
well, you're searching for a better high, I think, for sure. And then
Because you get
I just
bored.
happen
Yeah,
to
because
know
me,
like
it's
people who were
yeah.
already shooting heroin, and so we just were hanging out, and then
The way I started shooting was I saw a guy that I was close to was shooting up,
yeah.
and I didn't understand what made it so much better than the other ways of doing it. And then years later, didn't try it then. Years later, another guy that I was talking to was a shooter, and then I was like, what makes it so special? What
Yeah.
makes it so different? And he was like, want to try? I said, sure, why not? And then
And it's like at first it's just fun, like it's fun, and then before you know it, you wake up one day and it's like you need it, and there's nothing you can do about it. At least for heroin, that's how that was. Like you're
oh no, same. Like towards the end of
Yeah.
it, there's been times that I remember shooting up and cussing at myself while doing it. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know why. It's like, why are you doing this? I'm like, well, because I'm gonna, and then just
Yeah.
doing it. And like being so upset with myself, what I was doing, and knowing that I needed it to wake up and function.
Oh, it got to that point.
yeah,
yeah.
it's like your body gets sick. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
I mean, with the heroin, it's a more different kind of sick than like with the uppers, a way different kind of sick. Like heroin users, they get physically sick.
Yeah.
With us, like with the speed users, for myself, it was just withdrawals, yes, of course, but the withdrawals are more so just, I just wanted to sleep the whole time, just very agitated, leave me alone, and nothing would get me up.
Do you think it's those ages? Do you think you would have done this if you would have started it later in life? Or is it the ages you're so impressionable, you are kind of bored, you're looking to be accepted? You think that has anything to do with it?
No.
I just think
Really?
it's like what you're around,
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
you
it's
hang out
definitely-
with, what you do. Like, on the border, there really wasn't much to do but parties. There was, I don't know, back then at least.
I mean, being a kid here back in the day and being at that age, there was nothing for people, or for teenagers to do, except for sneak out or stay at a friend's house, and all they were doing is just drinking and doing drugs. Do I think if I would have done drugs if I didn't move here and lived in San Antonio? I don't know. But like Gladys just said, it's for myself. It was all situational and I guess environmental. My surroundings.
It's very interesting. Because sometimes you hear people that become addicts, something traumatic happened in their life.
Yeah.
But for both of you, it wasn't that.
Nothing.
Nobody. I mean, I was never around it in my life. So, I mean, my parents were
Yeah.
not users.
Yeah.
They're not heavy drinkers. I mean, nobody that was close to me that I was always around were not of that lifestyle.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, when people say, "Oh, that's how you were raised," no, it's
Yeah.
not.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Just a choice because of your surroundings.
Correct.
Mhm.
Wow. Were your closest friends doing it, or were you like the first one
I was the
of
first
your
one.
group that did it?
None of my closest friends were really doing it. It was just the random people I was hanging out with.
Yeah.
I'm a big social butterfly. I'm
Yeah.
a very social person.
You
so
both are.
I have friends in so many different random circles.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those circles that I was in.
Yeah.
Was one of the partier circles, I guess.
And it just got its hook in you.
It's got my hook
Yeah.
in me. And
Yeah.
it was kept sacred from all my other circles, my true circles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
And you neither.
What?
Wasn't your core friends or your close
Well,
friends?
I think like we all like smoked and drank and took pills and stuff like that, but I was the first one that was like, yeah, let's go do heroin. That sounds awesome.
That sounds like a good time.
Take me out, you know? Wow. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
I know, I laugh at it now. It's just, but I guess it's the addict's dark sense of humor that we
Yeah.
have, but stupid shit we did.
Yeah.
Like?
Oh, no, we can't say that.
Oh.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, we'd be here all day if we
We'll
talk
be
about all the
all
stories.
day,
Come
yeah.
on.
Oh, you can't tell any of them.
I mean, I don't mind, but
This would be an
what kind of
explicit
questions are you asking?
Well, my next question was,
I might need to have my journey present for some of them. Just kidding.
my next question kind of leads into that. What was the most challenging thing you faced in that season? What do you think?
I think for me, it was just like your body needs it. So it's like being forced. Like, it's not even that you want to do it. It's like, I mean, yes, it was fun and it felt good and all of that. But at some point of having a needle in your arm for 5 years, like, you know, you are not telling your body what to do. Like, the drugs are basically telling your body what to do, you know? And at some point, it's like that just wears you down, you know? And just doing things really I mean, everything depended on drugs, you know? Waking up, drugs.
Yep.
Going to sleep, drugs. Ooh, the sun's going down, drugs.
That
You know, it's
you're-
time.
It's like anything was celebration, you go do drugs. It's
Like,
like, yes, I sneezed.
yeah. You know, I mean, it's funny now, you know, but like back then it's torture. It's torturous, you know, and I probably didn't even see it like that back then. I mean, yeah, like you said at one point, like, you know, you wake up and it's like, dang, you know, you just always for the fix, you know, and for me, after all those years, it's just like, ooh, it's pretty sad,
Yeah.
you know.
It's all you think about?
That's all you thought about, yeah, for sure.
What was it like having jobs?
Girl, I didn't have a job.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What
jobs?
job?
Really?
I don't know how these functioning addicts do it
Yeah.
these days.
For real. I feel like
They're on
hardcore
those
addicts
gummies and
yeah.
on those.
Well, no, like the
what
hardcore
do you
addicts
call
and
it?
they
What
maintain
are they
like these
doing now?
high society jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
I used
for
to
me-
smoke crack with a ER doctor. Like,
Really?
crazy. That's one story.
Yeah. One was meth with a brain surgeon.
What's with you doctors?
I don't know. Like, they're
doctors-
crazy too.
yeah, they're crazy too.
Like, drugs, dude. Seriously, they're everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
What about you? What was the most challenging thing?
The most challenging through it all, or I guess through it all would be every time I talked to my parents, it was just straight lies coming out of my mouth. And feeling the guilt right after I get off the phone with them. And how did I deal with that guilt? Put a needle in my arm. You know, I mean, it's sad to say, but that's
Yeah.
what it was at that time. So yeah, that's probably the most challenging throughout the entire addiction process.
Just
Keep scratching.
to having to lie,
Lies,
lying to your
cover.
loved
Yeah.
ones.
So they didn't know? Like, your parents didn't know?
Not at first, but then they started figuring it out. I mean, when the lies started like not adding up, and it was just like ditching them and avoiding them, and yeah,
So where did
and
you?
how I was getting all this money, you know, like to
Wow,
buy
nice.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have a job,
No
so
job.
I guess were you living by yourself, or where'd you live?
Technically, yes, I was living by myself, but I mean, when you're in that world, you have quote unquote friends. I mean, don't get me wrong, I made some really good friends that I have friends today that I met through the addiction who are sober now as well. But the friends that were staying with me were just essentially using me at the end
Yeah.
of it all.
What about you? Did you live by
Where did I
yourself,
live?
or yeah? I mean,
So, I mean.
were you making money the way he was making money?
Well, I mean, I was like doing illegal things for money
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But there was times where like we would get apartments and you know, here and there. And for a while I was homeless, you know, by choice, you know.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And so my mom was like, no, like that, you know, after so many years, you know, kind of gets old. So she cut me off from, like, I couldn't even ask her for $5 to go to the grocery store. I mean, to the corner store for like a drink or whatever, because she didn't trust me for anything, which rightfully so. But so, you know, yeah, I was like homeless for a while and sleeping outside. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
On people's couches, wherever, like my friends, you know, they already were having like families, and they were just like, I mean, none of them really did heroin like that. They partied and did other things, but, you know, I would just crash out and, you know, wherever. And yeah, there would be times where, you know, yeah, I would, yeah.
Mom,
Yeah.
were you ever homeless?
Thankfully. I mean, I lived in hotels.
Yeah, that.
Hotels.
Lived in hotels after my first place got raided. Just had to live that hotel life, just bouncing around. So I guess that's kind of homeless in a way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't like living
That's
on
why
the
I say.
streets
That's why I
homeless.
say it's like by choice, you know,
Yeah.
because like I had places to go, but did I want the good back then? Probably not. You know, like
Yeah, I mean, I easily just could
you
have
don't
gone
want
home,
anyone
stayed
telling
home,
you what to do.
not getting
you know?
any more trouble. But
Yeah.
it was like she said, by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not uncommon in that world. My
Yeah.
late friend Colby, he left living here in Texas with his mom while he was using to go literally be homeless in New York. And so he flew up to New York with just a bag of clothes and was homeless. And then he started just panhandling, making money. He met some others, and they ended up getting an apartment and everything.
Yeah.
But he wanted to do it, and he said, damn good money just being a beggar on the streets in New York.
And he died. Eventually.
He got sober, moved. That's how I met him. But no, when we got sober here and we came to, I went to La Hacienda. I forgot where he went, and we met in the rooms. And he ended up moving back home. And shortly after he moved back home, he got in a car wreck.
Oh wow, sad.
But yeah, like I said, he in addiction decided, I'm gonna move to New York and
Wow.
go live on the streets.
Wild dreams.
Wild dreams, yeah. Yeah, wild dreams.
That's one thing about drug addicts, though. I feel like we're just so creative in a way, and like dreamers, you know. Like I truly feel that, you know. If any drug addict that I've met, you know, they all
Has some sort of creative side to
dude,
them.
like, and yeah,
Well, you both are.
yeah. Hey.
Yeah. So was there something specific that happened that led you to the road of recovery? Like that you just decided to make the change? This is like I'm making a turning point.
My hotel room got raided, so.
Well, let's just do a side note here. How many raids have you experienced?
For myself, too.
Yes, two.
Yes.
But you were there for more?
I was there for a couple more, yes.
Wow.
But for myself, too. The final one is what brought me back to the hill country. I laugh about it, but yeah, no, my hotel room got raided by the feds. There was people that were, again, staying with me in the room who were doing other illegal things that were already being watched and investigated. And I got mixed in all that mess. So when they say you are the company you keep type thing.
Yeah, guilty by association.
Guilty by association, that is 1,000% true. So for those of y'all listening, yes, guilty by association is a real thing. And it ended up just, I went to jail for a little bit, and the judge says, we'll get you out of here, we'll sign off on all your bonds if you go straight into rehab. And he asked me if I knew La Hacienda, and I giggled, and I said, yes, sir. My parents live, and I grew up 5 miles away from there. He said, well, it looks like you're going back home. And so after going through all that court and stuff, I went straight from jail to La Hacienda. And from La Hacienda, I went to Archway Recovery for my 90-day outpatient. And through all that time, still going to court. And yeah.
You have a funny story in court when the judge, gosh, you told me one time, you told something to the judge like real sassy.
That was the first time ever
Okay.
being in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, yep. He was going through all my charges when I was being magistrated. And he said, man, for the first time I've ever been in trouble, you sure do have a lot of charges.
Oh my gosh.
And just out of my mouth said, go big or go home.
Right?
As you walk away.
As I walk away. And
Yeah.
stood back in line in my little jumpsuit.
So if you hadn't gotten rated, do you think you would have eventually gotten out of that lifestyle, do you think?
probably
or
not.
you'd probably still be in it.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
We'd either be dead or in prison.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because with drugs like that, that's the only two options that how it ends.
Yeah. What about you?
Ask me the question. What was it again?
What was it? Was there one thing that like got you on the road to
To sober
recovery, or like something happened, or just did you make a decision?
Nothing
or?
in particular. I think just, basically living in hell for years, like at some point, like it gets old, and I think like truly I was just tired, and there was just something in me, and I just felt like, it was just like it was time for me to stop. Like I knew that I just had to surrender, because I knew that it wasn't going to get me anywhere. Like he said, in jail, dead. A bunch of my friends had died. We're dying. We're in prison for years and still are till this day. And so like I just knew that it wasn't going to get anywhere. And so I had been on probation as well, and I had already been to treatment multiple times before. And so the last time I had gotten in trouble, and they restarted my probation because I never reported or anything. And so basically, like the next day after they restarted, I was like, that was for me like my moment of surrender. And so like I called my PO and I said, listen, like, you can just take me to jail today if you want to, because I'm going to keep on, not because I want to, but because that's kind of what I have to do. For how I am right now. And so I went to jail. And so I was there 3 months until the judge said the only way I can get out is if I went to rehab. So I went to Fredericksburg for treatment. And and then so I was there for a month, and then I went to sober living after that for a while. And I remember just watching shows, and I would be like, man, these girls are just so beautiful. Like, I haven't showered in a week. Like, who am I?
Yeah.
Like, growing up, I wanted to be this and I wanted to be that, but like, obviously I wasn't getting there, And so, like I just knew that there was more for me.
Yeah.
And so, I basically had to decide.
So good. I'm so thankful.
Oh.
That's a strong willpower.
Yeah.
Strong willpower.
Well.
So can
definitely.
you think you can just make a decision
I think
to get out of it?
No. I think it takes a lot to get there.
If you could just make the decision to get out of it,
yeah.
you're not a hard user or you're not an addict. At
Yeah.
that point, you're just a normal.
Or you switch to something else.
Or you switch
even,
to something else.
Yeah.
I was not fired, but I say fired from 2 sponsors when I was going through the rooms because they didn't classify me as a true addict. They said, going back to the whole situational thing and you're aware of your surroundings, they classified me as a hard user, like a extremely hard user because of how fast my using progresses. Just because get me out of that situation, that environment, and for both times that when I guess fell off, it was the same thing. When I fell off here on cocaine in the early 2005, 2007-ish, before I moved to Austin, I was using it here, and it took me to move to Austin to not do it. And then when I lived in Austin, I started using after I got sick with my gallbladder, not knowing that's what it was, and I turned to that. And then that's when I started surrounding my people that I started surrounding myself with were all users. So it was that situation. And then got in all the trouble there. Moving back here, I got out of that situation again. And so that's why they classified me more as the hard user. But when I use, I balls to the wall, you bet. I'm doing everything and anything I can to go do it and do more of it.
Yeah. So it did take you getting out of your environment
That's what it took
Yeah.
for me.
to stop. Yeah.
That and to hit my rock bottom. I mean,
yeah, same.
I guess though everyone's rock bottom is completely different.
Mm.
You would think me getting rated the first time would be a rock bottom, but it wasn't, because after all that, they only found half a gram, and I was just getting
Yeah.
probation. So I said, oh, I could get past this. That's what the user in my
Yeah.
the drug
Yeah.
user in my head.
But then it's like you go back to your old friends, your own,
Yep.
back where you lived before, and that's the same thing with me. Other times that I went to rehab, you know, when I got out, I would just go back home, you know, be with the same people. They're all doing the same things, you know. It's
Easy to
just-
get right back into
yeah.
it.
And not to say like the people, or I guess the people, when I was trying to be good, after I got in trouble the first time, the people I was around weren't like, come on, just do it. They respected that I couldn't do it, but it was, again, back on me that I decided I want to keep easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it goes back to
Yeah.
you. I mean,
Choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even, I mean, I guess when you're in the middle of using, you're saying you're still having those thoughts of like, you're mad at yourself for doing it. So there is a level where it's still a choice, even when you're deep in it, would you say?
At that point, it doesn't become,
I think it depends, like what.
it's like your conscience in a way. It's like
Yeah.
that's more, it's like you don't have the choice. You just here at that point, you know you're messing up and you're not doing what you need to do, but it's just more like just a nag. You know, just like, imagine like you doing something mom doesn't approve of,
Yeah.
and others like, oh,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be doing that type
Yeah.
of thing. And it's just there telling you, just nagging at you, but you're not in control. Like she said, you're really not in control. You just want to feel better at that time, and the only way to feel better is by putting the drugs inside of
Doing
you.
it again. Yeah. So you both hit rock bottom. Can you explain a little bit about like how you overcame it? And I'm like kind of in detail, like, so you get out of jail, you go to rehab first, and is there a choice there? Is that when willpower starts, or relying on your faith? You know, I mean, can you describe a little bit how you overcome?
So like for me, like, I mean, I was what, like 20 when I went to rehab the last time. And so I had a awesome counselor, and so, you know, when you're in rehab, you're assigned a counselor and stuff, and she was just the right one for me. But so, you know, they're asking you all these questions and stuff, and I truly like didn't even know who I was. Like, I didn't know anything, you know, and
Yeah, no,
and
you're right. I lost my creative side.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think back to the question. Wait.
Well,
so,
just how did you overcome it? And so you had a good
so yeah, so
counselor.
basically, like,
Yeah.
I told my you know, my counselor was, you know, they try to get to know you and stuff, and I was just like, I don't even know who I am, like, what I want, where I'm going, what I'm doing, like, how to do things, simple things, you know. And she was the one who basically told me, like, listen, you're gonna be here for 30 days, and then from here you're going to sober home. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And how much is this? And where am I going? Like, where am I? Where is
lost,
Kerrville?
like the
I had no
definition
idea
of
where
lost.
Kerrville was. I had never heard of Kerrville in my life, never heard of Fredericksburg in my life, you know. And so basically it took somebody else telling me, like, this is what's good for you and this is what you need to be doing. And I just said, okay. And I just trusted her. She'd been sober at that point, like 20 years too. So I was like, okay. And, you know, yeah.
What about you?
What was the question again?
I know, like, oh.
No, you're good. Just how can you describe how you overcame? So you get out of jail, and then
go into
so you both did recovery, or like AA, or
rehab, AA,
Okay.
rooms. When you go straight into rehab, for myself, being court ordered, in my mind, I went in and all I pretty much did for the first 2 weeks was sleep. Did I go through all the classes and stuff? No. Was I supposed to? Yes. Did I get in trouble? Yes. They said if you don't start attending things, you're going to get kicked out of here. And if you get kicked out of here, since it's court ordered, you just possibly might go back.
back to jail.
So I said, well, I guess I better get up and start eating and cooperating and doing the rehab thing. So, yep, I did that. And then, like I said, I went through the process. Now, overcoming it, I mean, I made friends in the course in the rooms that I still talk to today. and they know that, I mean, yes, I'll have a drink now here because alcohol wasn't my thing. But they respect that, and I respect them still. I forgot where I was going with this.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Man! Where was I
How
going?
did you overcome
Oh yeah,
it?
how do I overcome? So I did the whole 90 days, 90 meetings in 90 days.
Yeah.
And
Not 90 because you slept through the first
not
few.
yet. Slept through the first few. But this was after the rehab part. Doing that,
Which thing?
the AA, going to the meetings,
Okay,
that was
okay.
not for me.
Really?
Yes. But everyone's recovery is completely different.
Yeah.
What works for somebody doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. What works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for the next person.
Yeah.
For myself, I couldn't, I guess mainly because of my ADHD, but I just couldn't sit there in a meeting. I wasn't comprehending because my mind would just wander. And then I would see some of these old timers that had 40, 50, 60 plus years under the belt, but to me, they always seemed grouchy and just not happy. And so in my mind, I put that together as, I don't want that. I don't want to end up like that. So I'm going to find something, my own route, that still works for me, knowing that I could go to these meetings if I need them. And I still have my network of friends that I met in recovery still around me. Even though I wasn't going to these meetings, I was still hanging out with them. So that was all the support that I needed for my recovery. Like I said, it was the whole, with myself, the environment, my surroundings. If I surrounded myself with good people, I'm going to still do good things.
Yeah.
Moving back here, I was nervous, very nervous to move back here because I
Yeah.
still know that people I used with back in the day were still living here.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, that was just a fear. So coming out of rehab and living at first back home for a little bit, and then I was able to get a rent house once I got a job and started getting money back under my belt, a rent house. So, and then that fear that I had of moving back here was gone, because I realized, if there's people that from your past that you remember that you used with
Yeah.
or whatever, you don't have to hang out with them.
That's right.
Yeah.
You just could say hi and just walk away.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
need to be friends with everybody, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
I learned how to build boundaries, I guess, and how to spot the red flags that I needed to spot, and realize, it's not just a pretty red flag that I could go grab and pick up and keep on waving, that it's a red flag just to leave it alone.
Don't touch that
don't
flag.
touch it, even though it's shiny. But
Yeah.
that's...
Well, that was going to be my next question was, like, your community at that time. How important is it that you have accountability, but a support system as well? I mean, can you do
Major.
it alone?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't know
power to
anybody
those
who has.
have. Yeah,
I
power
mean,
to those who have.
thinking back, I don't know not one person who has.
No, there's always somebody. I mean, I'm very grateful I had my family, like
Yeah.
my mom and dad, were there every step of the way. But for those who don't, I mean, you meet so many people in recovery,
There's
that
no reason to.
there's no reason that you shouldn't have a support group at the time once you get into the room the first day. Have someone there that you can talk to. And what's crazy is your story can relate to someone who's 60 years old to someone who's like either twice your age going up or like twice your age going down. And you can make that bond and you can help each other out because your stories are so similar. And like, you never know. The recovery community is so eclectic and so unique. It's very fun and interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Like going to a restaurant with everyone in a group, and it's just, you have someone who's like 80 years old, and you have a 15-year-old, or not 15, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it was just all walks of life, all different races, different backgrounds, all just together eating dinner, having coffee and tea.
Yeah.
Do you trust those people, like, immediately? Do you feel like you can trust them?
I feel like at the beginning you don't even trust your own self.
Yeah.
Like, who are you? You know.
Yes.
So I mean, I think like you just. I mean,
It's like
you know, for
have
me,
to,
it's
though,
like
talk to them.
for me, like I think just living in a sober home was like, you know, people would come, people would go, but there was always those 10 that we stayed together, you know. And even to this day, I mean, there's still quite a few of us that are still sober.
Wow.
Still, some of us are still in Kerrville, and Yeah. I think like they just become like a family too, though. I think people that you grew up, because it's really called growing up. That's what we call it. Like we grew up together. So we grew up in sobriety together, you know? And so you just have that connection. And even though we don't talk every day, I'm like, hey, you know, but I'm like,
yeah.
I see you.
you
see
know,
me.
yeah,
You doing it.
yeah.
So you didn't do AA, or you did,
I started doing it.
but then that was when you decided you needed something different. What did you
He
switch to?
made his own path.
I made my own path.
Well, what was the path? Can you just?
I mean, I don't know what the path was.
Well, what did you do? Did you live in a sober home?
No.
Okay.
Like I said, mine.
You just went back
I
home
just
for a little bit.
Went back home for a little bit, and then was fortunate
Wow.
enough to be able to find a house to rent. Because with the background, it's hard to get an apartment if
for
you have
sure.
something on your record. So I was able to rent a house from an individual. That was a small little thing that was in my budget. I stayed there for a couple of years until I got a big boy job. And was able to start making big boy money.
Well,
and
so you did
But
all of
started
that
doing my
without AA.
photography.
But it looks like maybe that became your focus, was like
It was
starting to
definitely.
build like
So
some,
I guess.
you put your mind into something, which is basically
Yeah. And what I put my mind into.
the way that it works. You have to keep your mind focused on
And
something.
busy.
Yeah, busy. And
You got to replace
you have
that
to have a
addiction with
vision,
something else, I
feel,
guess. With that,
you know?
feel that emptiness that you spent all that time
Yeah,
using.
exactly.
You need to fill that time with something else.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's, I guess, what really helped me. And that was, let's see, I got sober in 2014. And it took me a while to find my fitness journey.
Yeah. I was going to bring that
Yeah.
up. Like, you know, it was a while, but you both found something very personable to you, like very deep. Like you had a fitness journey, and Gladys, I feel like you really got into your faith, you know, a few years down the road. Do you want to talk a little bit about kind of your choices after, like you're sober, you're very stable, and you found a relationship with God?
Yeah, I mean, I think like for me, for my own person, you know, obviously I grew up like Catholic, and, you know, and then, you know, you grow up, I mean, I was baptized, did my communion, you know, I did all of that. And so, but then, you know, after, you know, when I got sober, I moved to Kerrville. And so I was like, okay, what do I need to be doing? And then, focus was what, you know, honestly, I didn't even want to work at the beginning.
Yeah.
When I first moved here, like they would get so mad at us, me and a friend, because like we didn't really want to work, you know. But then I just started, you know, we were forced to, like we had to, or we were gonna get kicked out, and like where was Gladys gonna go? Like there was nowhere to go, you know. So I had to like get it together, you know. So started working, and then somebody introduced me to, or was telling me about like how there's a beauty school here and whatever, and I'm like, you know what, like that sounds fun, you know, you get to dress up, you get to like play with people's hair, and I'm like, that sounds like the dream job, you know, legit. And so, you know, that's basically what it went off to. And so I did beauty school, and I just really put a lot of my time, and everything was at work. Like I became probably the hardest worker.
Yeah.
And I full force. Like I had 2 jobs. I was in beauty school. Well, it wasn't a job, but I was in beauty school in the day, and at night I had a night job.
Wow.
And so I just did that. And you know, when it's just you and you have no kids, no nothing, I mean, that's all I did, and making money, and you know, that was my thing. And so finally finished beauty school, and so I had already started my family while that was going on. And so, you know, it was just work, and then you know, and I love it, and I love what I do. And so I was introduced to, I got invited to come to church. And so I was like, wow, this is nothing like I had ever been to before. Like I had never gone to a church where you can like be drinking coffee, like, because it was a big no-no, right? Like when you're going to Catholic church.
Oh yeah, no chewing gum,
no chewing
drinks.
gum. And I was like, what is this? You know, and so, you know, that, and the people, and I mean, it took me a while to start coming consistently, you know, because I got invited several times. And so it just started growing on me more and more. And so it was just what worked for me. And so
good.
I love it here.
So good. And then you I was around for your fitness journey too.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Yeah. I helped take some before and after photos.
Yeah, you
There you
had. Yeah, you
go.
did.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, what got you? I remember you telling me you saw an actor post something about his fitness journey.
Oh no, that was when I already started. That was what was the big guy?
It was Chris Pratt. I thought he had like
Chris
made a
Pratt.
comment.
Oh yeah, no, he was a little chubby boy, man.
He talked about his journey. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of what started you because you
Mine?
started doing the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I smashed my finger at at the job we worked together.
Oh my gosh.
Beep, you can beep that one out. I remember I smashed my finger at work in a car door, and my nail was about to fall off, and the boss at that time made me go to the emergency room to go get it taken care of. So I went and I jumped on the scale, and that was the first time me actually putting my eyes on a number. And I said I need to do something about that, and so I just started working out. And when I say working out, I mean my dad is Parkinson's, so he has this like sit down
Workout
stationary
thing,
workout bike thing where it's like an elliptical, but you're sitting down.
Yeah.
So I remember doing that after I would get off of work. I would go over there and start doing that about 15 minutes a day. And that's all I was starting to do. And then I would start walking the river trail and started with 3 miles and make my way up to like 5 miles.
Wow.
But during that, I was smoking the whole time.
Hey, baby steps.
Baby steps, right? So I'd be walking real fast down that trail, but a cigarette was in my mouth. People are like, hey, Gabe, hey. Waving and smoking. Just like a good old proper athlete, I guess. I don't know. So then I would see people run. I'm like, I want to try that. And I've never wanted to run before in my life, but I wanted to try it. And so
That's
I put
great.
the cigarette out and I started running and realized, can't do that. So I quit smoking so I could start running, and I just fell in love with running. And that's like what I replaced my time with.
Yeah.
Just really fell in love with running and skipped all the races. That was the end of 2016. Was just running in town with friends, made some friends in the running group. And I ran my first time ever entering a race was the half marathon in San Antonio. And wait, let me look at my arm. 12:3 in 2017.
There you go.
And I did a half marathon, and then did my first full marathon in 2020. And here we are today in 2024, and do I run? Nope. But I switched. I did
you
run.
accomplished,
So what happened was everyone was telling me, so I started running not because I wanted to be a long distance runner and I wanted to keep running races. I started running because I enjoyed it and it was helping me lose weight.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked it up, and people were telling me if you want to keep losing weight, you need to do weights. And I didn't believe them because I saw all those results coming just from running. But then I plateaued and life got busy, and I quit running so much, and then the weight started falling off of me that was stuck on me. So I was like, sweet, they were right. And then now I'm mainly focused on weights. That's what I do now.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I feel like you both, like you were saying, like at the beginning of the recovery process, you had to focus on something else. So you both got jobs, focused on making money. You realized you were really into hair and the hairstyling, right?
Yeah.
The cosmetology school. So you have to get busy doing something
Oh
else.
yeah.
That's important.
Yep.
If someone's listening, like
Oh yeah.
Well, I think
in that process, like you have to get busy with something
yeah,
else.
and I think like you hear a lot about like having a vision board, and I think that's so important. Of like, where do you want your life to go? It's like you literally have to see it, you
You have
know.
to-
So
yeah,
you have to have
you have
some
to have
kind of
some-
vision and paint yourself somewhere
Yeah.
in
'Cause
your
if you
head,
just work-
somewhere. You know,
'Cause if you just work just
yeah.
to pass time,
What are you working for? You
then
know,
you're still
like
going to have that lost feeling.
yeah. For me, it's like I have to have a goal. Like, okay, what do you want? Where are you going?
Yeah.
How are we getting there? And then you do it, and then you do another thing, and then you almost like you chase that.
Yeah.
You chase the goals.
Yeah.
But with that being said, don't set your goals out that are way too extreme where you're going to set yourself up for disappointment and you're going to end up beating yourself
Go
up.
big or go home. Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's what I learned. That was one of my red flags. I guess you can go big or go home on certain
gosh.
things. But set goals that are reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't make it to where you're going to set yourself up for failure. You're going to make yourself stress yourself out for no reason. Make them obtainable. That way easier to manage, and you get to reward yourself. It feels good when you finish something.
You get to have some apple slices.
You get to have apple slices.
I remember you just like counting your every little
Oh my
macro.
gosh.
Like
it was awful.
it was just like I can't have that much
Thanks.
granola in my yogurt.
Yep.
You know?
Oh, I had 3
Like,
Tic Tacs.
wow.
I had
Yes.
3 Tic Tacs today.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
The blueberry donuts, that was your favorite, and he would
They
just
still
like
are
go
my
and like
favorite.
cut them. I can only have half.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would weigh
Everyone
them on the mail scale.
Wow.
Go to the mail room and weigh my snacks because there's an
my
accurate
gosh.
scale.
It's wild.
Oh, that's
I
really
wonder
big.
if they ever found out.
Oh my gosh.
A little bitty crumb of a donut on there.
Like, how does this blueberry get here?
So funny.
Oh my gosh.
Good times, good times.
Do you guys ever feel the need to help others? If you see someone that is
For sure.
are trying to get into recovery?
Yeah. Sometimes. It just depends, I think. But I think it's just like for me, like my personality, like I just want to save people.
See, I'm laughing.
Yeah. And
I'm
not
laugh-
everybody's like that though, you know, and I'm
He's
just like,
obviously not.
dude, like I know where you are. Like I could see it, I could feel it for you, but I'm just like an empath, you know? And so like I just feel it so heavy on me and like I want this for you, but I can't make you want it, you
See,
know?
that's why I'm laughing.
And
It's
so
because
sometimes
same thing.
you have to, then it'll be like, you know, I'm sorry, but like,
It's hard to watch.
I
when
want
they
that
don't
for you, but
choose
You
it.
can't-
you know,
you
you
can't
have to
force it on
mentally
someone.
be there to change. So
Yeah, you can't force it to someone.
it's
I'm
still
like, I
heartbreaking
laughed.
though.
I laughed, but I'm the same thing. Like, I could see someone that I care about, even if I don't care about them, they're like, man, you're stuck bad in it. Like, you get out of it. But there's nothing you can say to someone actively in
Yeah.
addiction
Oh yeah.
that's going to change their mind.
No.
And the only way a person's going to get out is when they hit their rock bottom. There's nothing you can do for an addict. I mean, I say that, but I mean, that's honestly how I feel.
Yeah.
They have to want it themselves.
Yeah. For sure. And like when I was how long was I sober? I think in 2018 I opened a sober home for women in recovery.
That's right.
And so I had that, and so that was really big on me. I wanted to help everybody,
Yeah.
you know, and so I did that for 4 years. And
Oh,
so
4 years?
4 years,
Wow, I don't
yeah.
realize it was 4
And then I had
years.
another baby, and I was like, okay, well, you kind of have to choose, you know.
Absolutely.
And so, but yeah, it's very sad though because there's people that you can help, and then it's like it's a slap in the face sometimes.
Yeah, it is a slap
You
in the
know,
face.
so
And-
it kind of is like old. So for people who like constantly do that as a job, you know,
Yeah.
it's like wow.
And,
That's
and when it
takes
goes
a
to
lot.
someone helping someone while they're in addiction, what a lot of people think when they're helping is all they're doing is just enabling. To that person who's not a user and it doesn't understand the background, for example, parents. Parents would do anything for their kids, you know? And so my parents were like, oh, you need grocery money? Here, we'll buy you a gift card. You know, we'll send you a gift card for groceries. But all those little things that people do where they think they're helping them to give them a better lifestyle, the addict is most
Will
of the
always
time
take
will always
advantage
take
somehow.
advantage. So like, oh sweet, you're giving me a gift card? Cool, I'm gonna turn that gift card, I'm gonna go trade it for drugs. You know, so where people I think are helping, they're actually just enabling someone. So they have a whole nother recovery based on that. It's called Al-Anon, where they send the like codependents of the users, the addicts,
The
to
family.
these so they understand what they're doing, again, is not helping them, it's just
Wow.
hurting them. And so it helps them create the boundaries that addicts and hard users need.
It's called detach.
Yep. It's tough love. It's pretty much tough love. So instead of, oh, hey, Mom, I need groceries. Please send me some money. Nope, you got to figure out yourself. Even though that's killing them, it hurts them to do that to their own son.
Yeah.
But it's just setting those boundaries.
Yeah. If someone is listening right now, they're in the middle of addiction, but they're able to hear us and they want to get out, what would you tell them right now? What is something that they can do right now?
Whatever the situation is, I mean, get out of that situation. I mean, I know it's
Move or-
easier said than
yeah.
done, but if you literally want help and you're surrounded by your group, your circle is just using, and you don't have anyone outside of that circle who's not using, get yourself out of the situation. Move, go to a different city, do whatever you can, reach out to someone for help. I mean, find a room. What's great is if you go to an AA meeting. A lot of places, they have them 24 hours sometimes in bigger cities.
Wow.
But if you go there, you don't even have to like listen. You could just find someone to talk to at that meeting, and they will help you get the help you need. Whether that's putting you in a temporary bed in the house, take you to detox, they will get you support and find someone in their recovery group, which is a huge network, just to call and get you out of there. I mean, I've seen it done before where someone was in San Antonio, I forgot what they called it, when they would, a group of them get together to go help someone.
Like a nine step or something like that.
Something. It's one of those.
It's like an intervention.
It's like an
I
intervention
think
where
they
you
call
just
it-
go.
yeah.
Yeah, they call it something. Or
Yeah.
this
Oh,
person was in
God.
San Antonio using, and they said that we need to get them out of here. So they were able to call the network of people and get them somewhere in Dallas,
Wow.
and get them into a temporary bed over there until they could get them into a treatment center.
So there's just
Yeah.
a network
I was
of
just
people
gonna say,
that are
like,
helping you get.
Yeah, I think just asking yourself, like, are you sick and tired?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like
it
you
sounds
truly
cliche.
have to be like, okay, is this like you could die tomorrow, you could die tonight. Like,
And
is
what's
this what you
scary-
want for yourself? Because you can keep on and on and on, but you have to. There comes a time where you just have to be like, do you want to continue living like this, or does it matter to you, or what's worth more to you? You
And
know,
see, and
is your
what's-
life worth
yeah.
living? Your family, and if you're ready, like they have free programs that you can call.
Oh, yeah.
And get on a list and go into full treatment for 30
Wow.
days, 60 days even probably.
And see, what's scary now is back when we were using,
Yeah.
fentanyl wasn't a big
Oh
deal.
yeah, it's such a major
know?
thing
And
now. It's like scary stuff now.
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, we weren't afraid. At least I wasn't afraid
No.
to snort this line, put this in a needle, and shoot it because
It was
fentanyl was
different.
just fentanyl, and it wasn't being laced in everything and cut with everything.
Yeah.
Fentanyl was literally at that time wasn't really even
I had never even heard of it back then. I don't think.
I don't remember it
honestly.
much on the streets at all. But now it's in everything, and it's scary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad I got sober when I got sober.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're you meet somebody at a meeting, they get you a bed for the night. You know, you get in the program, you get in a sober home. Do you look for a job? I mean, is that like you get busy? I think we kind of touched on it earlier. Like you get busy doing something.
Yeah, and
Is
like
that
you're around
important?
people who are all trying to do the same thing as
Yeah.
you. You
Yeah.
know.
I mean, if you get into a sober home, there's rules that you must follow.
Yeah.
And the rules are like you need to get a job, you need to go to a meeting. I matter if it was every day or
Yeah.
like 3 meetings a week, whatever it is. They give you rules that you must follow if you want to continue living there. And if you don't follow those rules, then you're out. And then there's only so many homes that you could go and bounce around to until they don't accept you anywhere. But some of those rules, I mean, they teach you how to be a person again. You have to do dishes, you have to cut grass. You
It's
have
like
to,
literally relearning everything. Yeah.
And they don't, I mean, I think they don't really call them sober homes anymore. They call them more like transition homes or something, I believe. Or they're trying to fight to
I'm
get
not
rid of the name
sure.
or something like that, I think. But just
Who
to show them
knows?
how to be
They want to
functioning.
change everything.
One
these
day at a
days.
time.
Yeah, one day at a
Just
time.
build your new life.
Yeah.
But obviously, you two, like many, are proof you can do it.
Yeah.
You can definitely do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I feel like it's very interesting that you both became entrepreneurs. Like you both had jobs, but you're both doing your own thing. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do. Gabe, what do you do? What are your
So I
businesses?
have my own photography and design business, but now it's grown over the years to now it's more than just photography and design. We offer video and more marketing and also a photo booth for clients.
Oh, yeah. I
So-
didn't know you did video now.
Yep, we started doing video. We're growing, like I said, we've been getting more and more business clients rather than just the big weddings that we do. So it's been fun to grow that way.
Yeah.
But have publications in Texas Monthly Magazine, worked with some huge names already. Did some design work and stuff for a bar up in Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh?
all the way up in Pittsburgh.
Wow, that's
Gone all the way to
awesome.
New York to do some coverage at an Ironman.
Nice.
San Francisco down to Old Mexico, New Mexico, all over. It's been
That's
fun.
great.
It's a lot to build a business.
It is, and that really keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, running a business definitely keeps you
Keeps life
occupied.
interesting though.
It
I
does.
love
It's
it.
a lot of hard work to
It's a
work
lot
for
of hard
yourself.
work. It is. More so when I quit the full-time gig, I thought I was going to have more time and I would be less busy,
Yeah,
not
you're
having to
wrong.
worry about another job. Yeah, way wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's nonstop now. but I love it. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, do I want a vacation here and there? Yeah, but I mean, right now it's hustle. It's hustle mode right now.
Yeah. What were some of the first things you did in building your business? Like, how would you tell someone to get started if they wanted to do that? Because it was kind of a big deal when you quit your 9 to 5. Like, you're not always ready to do that.
You're not always ready. Was I ready to do it? Yes and no. But it's something that you put yourself, you just have to try.
You just have to do it.
You just have to be prepared to, there might be some falls, there might be definitely some falls, some hard times when bills are tight, but you just got to go with it. I mean, it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
But luckily, things just worked out. I mean, of course, you have to do everything you would to do a business. You got to put your stuff on social media. You have to tell people, oh, now I'm full-time doing this. And do what you have to do to get the word out there, and it just starts falling into place.
What are your handles on social media that people can follow?
At Gabe Renee Photo and Gabe Renee Photography.
Do you have your booth ones on those?
Thanks. Then it's at Trendy Booth TX.
Okay.
It's the photo booth.
They can rent a photo booth for their events.
Yep.
Nice.
All sorts of things.
And then all kinds of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So you're a hairstylist?
Yes, I'm a hairstylist, salon owner. We do hair and makeup for weddings, events, and then just a full-service salon. Yes.
You started with hair, right?
I started with hair, yes. Been doing it 14 years now. Love it.
But you kind of had to put the time in, both of you, working for other people, learned your skill and everything, and then you just decided to go out on your own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wasn't a full just jump straight into entrepreneurship.
No. And back then, like for me, doing hair, like it was called, pound the pavement. You know, there was no, like, social media wasn't as big, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, everywhere you went, you had to leave cards. I would, like, go places. That's what you call pound the pavement. Like, drive through banks and be like, here's my card, come see me, And then after a few years after doing that, that's when, like, I made my own Facebook page. And so, it
definitely started as a hobby.
It went wild from there.
Yeah, mine started as a hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, my background's graphic design. Photography was always there as just a fun thing. And moving back, I was pretty much starting from scratch because everything I had was pretty much stolen from me in the Austin days. But moving back, a friend was like, hey, you know how to take photos. Can you take some photos for me? I said, sure. Took some photos. And then that friend said, hey, can you take photos for me? Sure. And one thing that started from this, and the next day it was that, and
that's awesome.
That's how it started for myself.
So good. You're so talented.
Oh.
You try.
If someone feels hopeless or stuck,
okay,
what would you say to them? Also thinking about, like, what do you wish you would have had someone say to you back then?
I mean, I always had the right people in my life, I think, for me, but it's about, like, reaching out to those people that are doing good. The people that are someone to look up to, somebody that you trust, you have to know somebody like that. At some point, you must have crossed paths with somebody, and if you haven't, then you find somebody. You have to look, because no one's going to save you. That's my favorite thing. Nobody will save you from anything. Like, you have to be the one, I mean, except God, of course, right?
Yeah.
But, like, you have to be the one to put in the work,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's a hard one, because it goes back, for me, that question goes back to, like we said, like, the addict has to be the one who wants to help them to hit their rock bottom. There's really nothing you can say to them that's going to change their mind about using.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you might put them in a little funk and make them think about it here and there, but they're going to go straight back to using. So what is something that you can say or do to someone who's
Bottom
in that mindset?
line is call the rehab. That's final.
Yeah, but
like,
for me, like,
quit messing around, dude.
just
like,
quit messing around, just call the rehab. But even if that, because the person's still, they're not gonna do that. For me, no shit. If
then you'll eventually go to jail, and then you just need to go to
jail
rehab.
or die.
Dude. Like, you just need to get out of life
what
for
I
30
think
days.
might have worked for me is if my friends would have, like, punked my ass. You know what I mean? Like, really pulled a number on me, hired some cops to be undercover or whatever, and make them do like a fake grade or something. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's gonna be dirty.
Dude,
It's gonna be dirty,
you couldn't
but
drive me no place.
but do something that's gonna shock me and scare me into thinking I'm gonna die or go to prison. Not really die or go to prison, but get me into that situation where, like, oh shit, I might die right now. You know, hire some thugs, put a fake gun to my head, make me think that I'm really being
Oh my gosh.
being
man.
being in trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe that will scare
Yeah.
somebody. I don't know.
Just a very intense intervention.
Very
Yeah.
intense intervention. Don't. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
those work
You
sometimes
put
too,
you
know,
put
but where
me
do
in a
they go
circle with
rehab?
people and tell me
Yeah.
like, hey, we're here to talk about feelings. I would be
Yeah.
just like the TV show.
Yeah.
Kidnap me, throw me in back of a van, and tie me in a room and waterboarded me and tell me you got to get sober. Okay, yeah, I might get sober then.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that would
Well,
work.
like for me, it's like I did that to myself, like, because nobody was going to do it. You know, so I basically, I told him, dude, come do something with me because I'm not doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, so that was like, I'm like, wow,
Who did
you
you
did
tell that
that.
to?
You did that, girl. What? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
You know, but that was like literally what had to be done, you know? Like,
I mean, it takes an extreme measure.
nobody could have done that for me. Like, you know, you take me, I would have never stayed nowhere. Anywhere.
Addicts
Wouldn't
are
listen,
intense.
no gun, no nothing. I would have put a gun to my own head before that, probably. I wanted to die, honestly. Like, because it was better than where I was at. Like, please, take me out of my misery, somebody. You know? And so, but yeah, so I had to decide that for myself. And I think that's how I knew, like, you're done. Like, there's no getting out of this.
Is this why you were in jail for the 3 months?
No, well, like right before,
Right
when I had
before?
told him, like, yeah, you might as well just take me to jail because I'm just gonna keep on, you know. So yeah, that was like, yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Definitely,
you get to
though-
your end, dude. You just get to your end.
But I feel like you really got to your end. Like, I feel like you made a decision.
I mean, I was hardcore, dude.
Yes.
More, I was hardcore. I mean, yeah,
You just decided you were done,
yeah.
right? While you were in jail?
No, before
Before
that,
you were
like
done.
before that, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah.
What's your favorite thing about yourself?
But
Oh, that's a
ADHD.
good question.
No, I don't know. My favorite thing about myself?
Yeah. We're going to wait because I want to hear it.
Oh my gosh.
What's your favorite thing about yourself?
I actually have learned to like a lot of things about myself.
Good. Give me a few.
But it didn't just happen like that, you know?
Yeah, it's a process.
I mean, it's hard to like actually pick them out.
I
But
mean-
I think for me, is like one of them, I'm a happy person. I like to be positive. I think I have, like for me, I like the energy that I have and all the things that I do with all the things that I have coming at me and going on in my life. And I'm still going to do me, you know? Like, because I could very easily be a depressed, sad person. You know what I mean? I still have siblings that are drug addicts in jail. You know, a lot of things going on, you know, but it's like you have to choose, like, how do you want to live? Okay, you're sober now, so what do you want to do? Do you want to live happy? Do you want to live sad? So, like, you have to make a choice, you know? So that's one of the things. I mean, some of the things I like, but, you know,
It's very hard
I work pretty
to-
hard, so I
you
like
are
that
very
too.
hard
Hard to pinpoint it.
But you're also very hard to, like, offend.
Oh my
Like,
gosh,
you,
yeah.
You don't
and-
hold
yeah.
grudges.
No, I don't
would
like
say
that.
that's something that
a
our
good
group of
thing?
friends
Yeah.
talks about
Yeah.
you. That's like
No, there's no
you
time
don't
for
hold
that.
grudges.
To me, like, there's
But
so
a
much.
lot of people do, and that's like
Yeah.
a gift you have. I mean, that's
Yeah.
big.
I feel like life is too short for that. You know, even though, yes, I know, and we have a long life, and life is long, but truly, like, life is short. You know, for all the things that there is to do in life, like, why live life being offended?
off, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't like that.
Yeah. What about you?
See, like I said, my ADHD, but it goes back to like my personality. It makes me,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a happy person overall. It's really hard
So
to,
happy.
it's really hard to piss me off or get on
Yeah.
under my skin or.
But it took a
Hold
while for
grudges.
us to
It
get
took
like
a
that,
while.
I'm sure, like for us to get to know our own selves.
I mean,
Like,
do I hold grudges? No.
17
but
years
maybe
ago,
it's because
okay.
I forget about why I'm mad. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know. But there was that one girl in third grade.
But you're very positive, but you're very happy all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen you, you know, people have made you mad.
Yeah.
But you're just a very happy person. Like, if you ever decided to get out of photography, you could be a stand-up comedian. Like,
Oh
that's
my
one of my
gosh.
I
favorite
think I'll
things
be too
about
nervous to do it.
you. You definitely have to wear your
You'd be in
sweatband.
the middle
Yeah.
of the joke. Where was I getting at?
Wait. Oh yeah, I forgot the punchline. But like, I'll come back to it later. And if you say another joke, and I'll just be like, banana. That's 3 jokes ago.
You're
Yes.
so funny. That's
thanks.
one of my favorite things about you. Can you tell one of your ADHD stories about the sparkler thing behind the chest of drawers? This is one of my favorite stories of you ever.
Oh,
I will
so
just be
this was-
thinking about it randomly and start laughing.
I guess this was 2015. I was in my rent house, and my friend James was over, and we decided, oh, let's go to San Antonio. So we're getting in my car, and I forgot something inside. So I'm like, wait 1 second. Left in the car. Like, I'm gonna run in real quick. Went back inside to go grab. I forgot what I was grabbing. I don't think I even grabbed it then. The thing I was looking for, but I saw something shiny in the corner of the room. I'm like, what is
I
that?
thought it was behind
Or it
the
was like-
chest of drawers,
Yeah, it was
right?
a corner behind things because I
Yeah.
just moved in not too long ago. And I'm like, what is that? So I started moving things. It was a piece of cellophane. Well, not major, but that small window from that cellophane made me start digging through other boxes of things. And I started, oh, here's this and here's that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then like 15 minutes go by, my friend James comes back in. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, you're here.
Oh my gosh.
Completely forgot we were going to San Antonio. He's just
Yeah.
waiting outside in the car for me. Yep.
Wow.
And
Let me just do some cleaning. I got nothing else going on
yeah, I
today.
got nothing else going on. I'm gonna start organizing this box.
That's funny.
That's what
My
happens.
favorite stories
Yeah.
of all the time.
Oh
Ooh,
my
that's
gosh.
Yep. So yeah, shiny things are real
Distracting.
real distracting. Yep.
Did you think of any of the songs yet?
I did, but I forgot again.
I can't think of any
The
that the kids sing.
elementary
Oh,
Catholic school songs. I say yes, my Lord. I say yes, my Lord. I say yes,
Oh
my
my
Lord. But I
gosh.
remember that song. What's another one? It'll come to me.
That's
El
funny.
Shaddai, El Shaddai, Ella Ada Adonai. Age to age, you're still the same.
Oh my gosh.
What else? Let's see. That was from old St. James Catholic High School, Southside San Antonio.
Nice. Represent.
Represent. Represent that 210.
how old were you?
That was kinder through 8th grade.
Nice.
One day we're just sitting on our cubicles. He starts singing these songs.
Oh my gosh.
I think I had to get up and leave. I was just like absolutely losing it. El Shaddai.
Oh my
El
gosh.
Shaddai. I don't even know what they're actually saying.
El Shaddai, that's God's name.
Oh.
Yeah.
The more you know.
There you go.
Yep.
Years later.
You
You
didn't even
didn't learn
know.
nothing, did you?
No, ADHD, I'm telling you, reading comprehension, out the window.
Well,
That's
it is
funny.
another language, so they just didn't tell you that was.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Excited
coming on.
for you.
I love you both.
Love you.
Yes, love you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I hope it helps you in some way. Make sure to follow Gladys's beauty salon page at Dollface Beauty Bar and Gabe's photography page at Gabe Renee Photography. Thanks again for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time on the Questions Podcast.